Hello, creative nonfiction writers. I'm getting ready to make my last major video for you for the semester. So our next unit that's beginning on Thursday of this week is going to be the group podcast unit. And it's in the spirit of Serial, a podcast series that was wildly popular here in America last year that I asked you to preview during the op-ed unit. If you didn't get a chance to preview that, you'll preview it again here. It's really going to ground you in this assignment. So in short, let's take a look at the Gantt chart first. You'll see that just as always, you're watching my video right now. You're going to print out the to-do list and print out the intro to group podcast sheet that I've made for you that you'll see in Module 7 on your screen. You're going to do your Pass the Fish by this Saturday, December 5th, after you've read Chapter 4 of Bird by Bird, and post to the discussion board by Sunday night your reaction to something from that reading. And again, I want you to review Serial. You're then going to look at a TED Talk of sorts. It's a Daniel Pink video on 6 elevator pitches for the 21st century, in which you're going to make a pitch to your small group, and you'll be getting your group assignments, or you actually already got them when I sent you the initial email about Unit 7. And you're going to make a pitch to the group on the topic or the research question, that you would like the group to explore. You do have an ability to do an optional reading that you'll see marked in the modules, and then you'll be brainstorming prior to making your pitch in video or text format on the discussion board. And in the meantime, your group will be determining when you'll be meeting to Skype to hear or review one another's pitches and decide which research question your small group is going to take on for your podcast. If you'd like to earn 5 extra credit points, you can react to your peers, and then you'll review feedback for your peers before Skyping to talk about each of your pitches, select ultimately the research question for your group, and then come up with a series of internal deadlines on when you'll be meeting a second time between now and Friday, December 18th, when your final episodes will be due. The recorder will send me the completed group task list by 11:59 on Friday, December 11th, and then you will turn in a practice podcast of 30 seconds with a music intro and a goal sheet, and you'll see that assignment there. You'll Skype for a second time, and then ultimately you'll turn in your final episode on Friday, December 18th. Unit 8, the last unit, is actually entirely extra credit. It is a parody of a professional podcast of your choice. So let's briefly preview this. The podcast, or the parody of a podcast, when you think of a parody, and you'll see this in my introductory notes, I'm sure that a lot of you saw the Muppets parodying Adele's song, Hello, and also Saturday Night Live had an excellent parody of Adele's Hello song, where they kind of made fun of what happens at the dinner table at the holidays and how if you just play hello, everybody's all one, etc. So this is going to be a parody that you're going to make on a podcast of your choice. So going back to Unit 7, and in particular, as we look at the modules here, I wanted to just briefly talk you through what this whole group podcast thing is all about. So, in short, your group needs to determine what your big research question is going to be. And when you read this Intro to Group podcast, you'll see that I read an article in the New York Times today about how we are all addicted to distraction and how our brains are being changed by our access to the internet. My reaction as a GOA teacher was immediately, oh, this would make a great research question for one or more of the groups. So, if the group research question is, how addicted have we become to the internet? One person could tackle social media and the notion of brand and crafting a brand, and how being addicted to social media might be affecting you. If you want to say that it's not affecting teenagers, okay, but it's affecting me so much that I abstained from getting on Facebook for the entirety of my Thanksgiving vacation, and I couldn't believe how it changed my reaction to The Thanksgiving break, I didn't feel any pressure to take the perfect photograph of my family. I wasn't crafting any status updates as I was doing things, anticipating what bright, pithy thing I could say on my Facebook wall. I just enjoyed my days. Maybe a second person then could focus on how the internet is changing our ability to focus. So maybe you Google something, a definition, and 10 minutes later it's lost because there was no effort put into looking up that word. You may not hang on to it. A third person could look at how things like Kindles and Nooks have changed how we read. A fourth person could look at cyberbullying. A fifth person could look at conflict remediation and how we're losing our social skills as a result of breaking up with people and meeting people and arguing with people 100% online and not seeing what it's doing to that person in real time. Okay. Another example that I would love to see one group tackle is some iteration of what happened in Paris a couple of Fridays ago. You could look at this notion of terrorism and how it's changing us. And there are multiple ways you could look at this. For example, I had a spirited discussion with my classes, asking them why we changed our filter to a French filter after the Paris terrorist attack, but we did not change our Facebook profile pictures to a Kenyan flag after the students at Kenyan University were attacked last April with a higher number of fatalities than we experienced in Paris. Maybe another group wants to tackle the topic of Black Lives Matters and police brutality in America. That's obviously very timely, and you could get into multiple facets there, with one person looking at how body cameras are changing how police interact with the public. Or you could look at one person could look at Chicago and what happened there versus somebody else who looks at what happens at the college level around racial equity and racial equality. So some sources to take a look at as you consider what your group research question might be. Go back to the Opinionator. A lot of you talked about body image, for example. Some of you talked about privacy. You can also look at these 2 additional sites for podcast topics, and I hope that's helpful. All right, so good luck to you, and we'll talk soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.